Hello and welcome back to the channel, friends. It's good to be here and I hope you're doing well. We are diving into some more Terracards madness today, of course. And folks, I have a mad one planned for you. Now, first and foremost, you're most likely wondering, well, what kind of madness awaits us in the Terracards realm today? And let me tell ya, it's gonna be crazy. Secondly, you're probably wondering, okay, well, explain this craziness to me, please, because now I am intrigued. Well, I'm about to explain it to you, and the first thing I'll say is it does involve field grapes, okay? And the first thing you're probably wondering is, well, gee, you've already done a field grapes video. What's different about this one? Why should I even continue watching this video right here? You've already played around with field grapes. You already took that to the ionosphere and back, right? So what's going to be different this time? And let me tell you, folks, in that original field grapes video, which I'll link in the description box, there was a key component missing. So consider this video a redemption tour, because I want to display the sheer game-breaking ability of the field grapes. And in my original video, like I said, I missed a key component. There was something just vital to this build that was missing. So consider this a redemption tour, a comparative analysis, however you want to put it. But we're going to completely destroy and bust and send to the moon this game with field grapes. It's going to be fun. We're going to make a mountain of cash. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Maybe you're not even aware of the power of field grapes. And if that's the case, buckle up. Because we're going like probably 10,000 feet per second into the sky as soon as we get this thing into orbit. If you are aware of field grapes, you can probably maybe predict, or maybe not, what this is going to consist of. But either way, we're going to have a fun time here on the channel. So with that being said, I do appreciate you stopping by the channel. If you're new here, welcome on in. Happy to have you here. And, perhaps consider subscribing and becoming a subscriber to the channel. Really like to have you in the community. The community is awesome. That is a sure thing. It's as sure of a thing as field grapes taking you into orbit, into the moon, past Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, right? Landing somewhere on the forgotten planet of Pluto, I think, is where we'll end up eventually. And frankly, I don't know. I mean, you might be able to take this particular build. It's very future-proof, and that's kind of another reason why I wanted to do this video today. I want to display how potentially future-proof this build can actually be. And it revolves around the importance of one very special card that we're going to lock into our hands, and you're going to see the sheer power. At least that is the hope. It is Terracards after all, folks, right? And things can go awry. You might not get, I might not even see field grapes. Who knows? There's also a timing element to it. I need to get field grapes at the right time. So it's kind of a race against the turn clock, if you will. And I'll get a little bit more into that in just a bit here. So in the meantime, we're going to continue to simply build our energy reserves. We're going to get some water in place. And we're going to just continue to build out in typical opening fashion like we do on this channel. We get our first essence reward, And what are we looking at? Tropical Soil, Gluttonous Feast, Paste Bloom. I think we can make use of the Tropical Soil, although it is going to harm our water cost by quite a bit, which is kind of scary early on in the game without a watery tree, right? But we'll do it. Okay, 54. All right. So I'm going to hold off, and we just desperately need a water solution. So let's see. Rolling by some good cards here too, folks. Some real useful ones for this build. More blue wheat. Could go more blue wheat and play this water well to help just stop the bleeding a little bit, but we desperately need a water tree or a nice fat stack of water wells. We'll see. Here's a 5 stack of water wells. We'll take that. It should get us by for at least another draw phase. So what I can do with the water wells is I can play them right here and right here. And we're at a water deficit right now. That's okay. Might lose a little bit of croppage, but that's okay as well. I'm not too concerned about that. The main thing that we need is a future water solution here, and the watery tree is a great one. So let's see if we can't roll into it. Here we go. We do get it. And this is exciting stuff. Alright, so we did lose some more grapes. Not great. You don't love to see that. But we can simply play them again and get our watery tree in our hands. That is the ultimate goal here today, folks. Let's get that watery tree in our hands. Or I'd say it's the it's the most prudent temporary goal that we have right now. Got a lot of stuff in my hands apparently, and you know, taking tropical soil really kind of worked against me in a sense, but that's okay. We're gonna be able to stabilize real nicely here. I'm gonna get a juicer right there, and we are going to start juicing some grapes for a higher quality product. We do get a watery tree there. That's excellent. You'll love to see that. And we need some corn now, for sure. Definitely need some corn. We have the water stabilized. So let's grab some corn and start getting that in play as well. So we're going to put some corn right down here. Keep an eye out for a melter as well. We definitely want a melter. Medium fence. Here's our melter. We'll take that. Why don't we just go down to with the melter, and let's throw a watery tree right here as well. Now water concerns are a thing of the past, folks. It is the glorious power of the watery tree. One of my favorites, for sure. Not even a question about that. Very useful card, no matter when you get it. Unless, of course, you have, like, you know, you're getting 100,000 water per turn or something. Alright, so our second essence reward here. We get the Miracle, we get Bunny-like Carrot, and we get Rabbit Apprentice. I think Rabbit Apprentice is a fine play here, so we'll go ahead and take that. The only kind of low-key drawback to Rabbit Apprentice, it's very good, especially if you're going animals, which we are in this one, at least some animals. The only drawback is your hand just gets cluttered. I don't necessarily love that, but that's okay. We'll take it. I mean, the Miracle is just not an option in this one. And Bunny-like Carrot, I mean, we're not going carrots at all, so. Or are we? No, I'm just joking. We're not going carrots. Let's grab a biofuel generator. If we are going to take our grapes to the moon, we definitely need some fuel. So that's what we're going to grab here, folks. Biofuel generator, very, very strong card if used properly. And we'll get into that here in just a little bit once I get some more of the infrastructure down. Chickens. Yep, let's grab chickens. That's why we went corn, so we can feed our chickens. So let's get our chickens right here. And let's get our melter in play as well. Need a fuel solution here. We'll work on that in just a moment. Water chicken crab. Bird nest. Yep. We'll take bird nest for sure. And let's continue to play our chickens. Let's just fill this fence up with our glorious chickens. This limits you to 5 cards per turn. Let me just see something here real quick. Okay. So we can comfortably play that right here. And then we'll start getting chickens every turn along with our Rabbit Apprentice bonus. So we'll actually, yeah, we're getting a ton of chickens every turn now, which is okay. Not necessarily a build that will feature the chickens, but they are essential to the overall build for sure. Olive tree, crusher, corn could really use a fuel solution. Got a little cash in the bank. Let's re-roll a little bit. Let's grab some more watery trees. Can never have too many of them early on in the game, for sure. Juicer, biofuel generator. Okay, so let me think about this here for a second. We have our watery tree. Let's throw that right there. Good spot for it. And our last watery tree, let's go ahead and throw that right there as well. Fuel peanuts, a fine fuel solution, without question. So we can go ahead and grab that, or fuel wheat would be a little bit better. I'm actually going to take some water tanks as well. They are going to really help us kind of take this into orbit, and you'll see how I use those in just a bit. First and foremost, though, we're waiting on a few key cards. And we need to get those few key cards before we get fuel grapes, essentially. So like I said, it's a bit of a race against the clock. And we don't get fuel grapes here, which is, it's actually a blessing. Arboreal bounty is an option for sure. Doubles the production. Paste bloom is also an option. I mean, we can take arboreal bounty. I don't really see the utility of trees beyond the watery tree, right? So let's just go ahead and take that. It does give us a bunch more water, which you'll love to see. And we are going into orbit here soon, folks. Just got to get a few things in place. Wheat, chicken, mixer. That's regular rate. Here's some fuel wheats. That's excellent. You definitely want to see that. And you definitely love to see that for sure. All right, so to plan this out properly, we could go... I'm going to go here, here, and then here. Okay, and then I'm going to throw my biofuel generator right here. We're going to throw 2 water tanks right here and right here. Then we're going to get some, whoops, we're going to get some fuel wheat down right here. Look at that, just 1 fuel wheat, 360 fuel. That's insane. So you see the power of the biofuel generator right here. And that's just with 2 fuel wheat and a couple of water tanks, right? So really, a really strong combination. And then we can grab some silos, you bet. And guess what we can do with these silos? You already know what I'm going to do with the silos, right? I'm going to get this into nuclear orbit here. So let's go ahead and throw our silo right here. Look at that fuel production. And then what we can actually do is we can continue to add fuel wheat and water tanks here on this island. And this is going to spike this to a pretty insane number here at the nice early turn of 68. 15,000 fuel at turn 68, folks. So imagine when fuel grapes comes into the equation. It's not hard to imagine. So here we go. We are playing fuel wheat. We're going to keep this same kind of build all the way around our biofuel generator. And this is really nothing new. Like this isn't the revelation, right? This isn't the... We'll take another one of those for sure. This isn't the big revelation by any stretch. Nope. The big revelation is another element to this. And you can actually... I don't believe it should work this way, but it does. I don't know if this is a bug in the game that they need to fix yet. But you can actually put 2 biofuel generators on the same island, and you get double the fuel production. Watch. 23.95, 47.75. So what should happen is the fuel should feed into just one, right? And that should consume the product. Instead, apparently it fuels into both. I mean, I'm definitely not complaining. But I think you can already see the very strong fuel foundation that we're building to really go nuclear with this build. Watery tree. Don't necessarily need that anymore. Apple tree. We get more silos here. Should we take more silos? What Could certainly take some more silos. Yeah, of course. In fact, I feel like I thought about that even too long. So we could go silo right here. 81,000, holy cow. This is insane. And then we'll throw one right here, of course, too. Crazy. Water tank, biofuel, silo combo. A little water intensive, but that's why you have the watery tree, right? All right, blue wheat, fuel peanuts. Another solution for the biofuel generator. Another good one is fuel peanuts, but we're going to skip over that. We're looking for something specific right now. Another biofuel. Yeah, absolutely. I have to. I absolutely have to. All right, so we get field grapes, but it's too early to take field grapes, unfortunately. It's just too early, folks. So I'm going to take Dionysian rites and hope we see the field grapes again. You're probably like, why didn't you grab field grapes there? Well, as I mentioned before, it's a timing thing. You need to take field grapes at the right time to get this to work. Either that or you just kind of have to get lucky with the cards you are presented with. So we'll see. I definitely need to get lucky here in the next 15 turns. Another silo. Don't really need those. Another biofuel generator. Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, why wouldn't I at this point? 192,000 fuel per turn. That is insane. Never seen anything like that. But that is the power of just a simple little build like this, right? So if you're ever strapped for fuel, folks, just consider it. All right, so let's throw another silo right here. That'll get us another, 60,000 fuel per turn. And we are quickly approaching 1 million fuel in reserve. More fuel wheat, sure thing. With just simple and common cards. In fact, if you ask me, the biofuel generator, with how strong it is, it's pretty darn common, actually. I mean, you seem to, like, I've gotten 4 already. You know what I'm saying? You pair that with fuel wheat, and it's just to the moon. All right, we're going to grab a fermenter here for sure. That was actually the card I was looking for. And what are we going to do with that fermenter, you ask? Well, I'll show you. Don't necessarily need more fuel wheat. We could could add another biofuel island right here. So why don't we just expand a little bit? Place some fuel wheat here. We've already passed the $1 million threshold, which is great. Now, folks, we're going to be making some wine, of course, as you see. And that does intoxicate our chickens. And this is the important aspect that I was missing before. So our chickens, our drunk chickens, that is, our intoxicated, college partying chickens lay the elixir slime egg. Okay? That goes into the bird nest. It gives you the elixir slime card. Now, what you're going to notice about the elixir slime here, folks, is the elixir slime itself has a 50% chance of giving you a grapes card every turn. And that, my friends, is the key to taking this build well into the future. Like, to the point where money will not even be an object anymore. You won't even have to be concerned about it at all. And that's the key that I also missed last time. So what I want to do is I want to expand here, here, and here. And I want to get just some more fencing down. And we have to start getting our elixir slime in play. Now, the elixir slime is very, very, very water intensive. Okay? But that's going to be okay if I can get a lake in my hand. So I'm also keeping an eye out for lakes. Want some more fences so we can just keep playing these bad boys. And then we're just going to pump our islands with grapes here. We'll be getting grapes every single turn for the rest of the game with elixir slime. Here's some medium fences. Tremendous. And then from here, we need field grapes. So you see the importance of getting the elixir slime first. You'll only need a fence of drunk chickens, and then you can start getting elixir slimes. But if you choose field grapes first, is what I'm saying. If you choose field grapes first, then it prevents the production of wine, okay? And if you can't produce wine, you can't produce the drunk chicken, which means you cannot produce the elixir slime. So it's prudent that you don't take field grapes too early. And unfortunately, you know, this is kind of the situation we find ourselves in. I think I will go flush, actually, in this. I'm thinking biofuel generators. I'm thinking we can use flush to our advantage. We'll certainly see here. But we're just going to play our elixir slime cards with reckless abandon. Not concerned about water costs at all. We are getting a lot of elixir slime cards per turn, for sure. And that's exactly what you want to see. Transport tube crusher, blue wheat, fuel peanuts, another biofuel generator. This is what I'm talking about. That's why you go flush. There is a utility for flush in this particular build, especially with cards that only give you 1 per stack. This will really help you take advantage of that for sure. So what we're doing here is, of course, we're just continuing to play elixir slimes. We're continuing to build a mighty empire of grapes. And then we're patiently waiting for field grapes. And once we get field grapes, I think this thing could probably go to like turn 500. I mean, it pretty much makes it future-proof. But then again, don't quote me on that. I certainly haven't tried turn 500. The game just doesn't perform very well past a certain point, as I'm sure you well know. Lake. Yep, you bet. We'll grab the lake. That's a solid choice. And we will keep playing our grapes. We get the fermenter there with our flush draw. We get the cow with our flush draw. Need that lake. Need that medium fence for sure. Get the cow again. So this is why I wish there was a discard feature for sure. But I think it's very much part of the game, right? Managing your hand properly. Don't just want to be sitting on a bunch of cards. Fuel cow is an interesting option. Produces fuel equivalent to half the total of fuel produced in adjacent islands. So I wonder, does that work with the biofuel generator? Let's try it out. I think there is definitely a play with the fuel cow for sure. But it's not going to come anywhere close to the effectiveness, of course, of the biofuel generator. Not even close. So let's throw down another lake right here. We can always expand a little bit later. And let's actually throw another one right here. Alright, we get our bio generator. So we're going to throw those down without question. Very energy intensive. Never really realized that. But that's why you have the blue wheat sunflower combo. For sure. Alright. We are making a modest 32k. So we gotta get field grapes essentially now. Especially with all the expansion that we've done. Chickens, corn, don't need any of that. Water chicken, don't need that. More grapes. Definitely don't need more grapes. We have plenty of that. Could go blue wheat here. It'll work well with the infrastructure we have in place. If we could afford to expand, that is. Another thing about the elixir slime is it, of course, produces elixir, right? An elixir can be used by the gnome to really boost production. So we'll keep our eyes out for a gnome as well. But really, folks, what we want is we want field grapes. We saw field grapes, and we kind of want it back, right? So let's see if we can get to our next essence reward here. While we scrape together the change on our dresser to keep the lights on. Here's some gnomes, you bet. We'll take that. Need to get some fences too. Looks like we got blue wheat that draw phase. More blue wheat. Makes sense. It's the most abundant card in our hand. Fantastic chocolate factory. Another biofuel generator. This is getting crazy. Popcorn, bright corn, cow deluge. Not great options here. I guess we could go popcorn. Sure. Let's go popcorn. And we're kind of in a holding pattern here. The products we have and we're making aren't necessarily the most lucrative of products, right? So that means we have to be resourceful here, folks. And there will certainly come a time when being resourceful is no longer necessary. So let's continue to play our elixir slime that just generates in our hand every single turn and gives us more grape cards every single turn. More medium fences. Yeah, you bet. You bet. And let's play our elixir slimes. See, if you just take a look at the grapes, right? They don't really produce very well. 2 grapes per plant. That one has 1. So it's not really a staple crop. We are making wine, right? But wine doesn't sell all that great. I mean, $1,000, right? So we're just kind of short on cash here. But that's okay. As soon as we get field grapes, that becomes a problem of the past. So really hoping we can get field grapes here and just nuke this thing out of orbit. But we'll see. More fuel wheat, you betcha. Elixir slimes around the lake. That's a must. Could certainly expand here. Though we definitely want to be careful. Yeah, that's a little too risky. Just a little too risky. Alright. Barn. Barn's not really useful to us. Neither is re-rolling. I mean, re-rolling is a pretty desperate move at this current juncture of the game, where we're kind of scraping by for cash. Got a new essence reward in just 7 short days, so we're gonna get there. Hopefully, Field Grapes comes up again. Interestingly enough, the slimes on the lake do cost water. That's very interesting. But that's okay. We got a fine water setup going. Alright, so more fuel wheat, you bet. We'll throw it here. And just watch that fuel production multiply. We can re-roll. I don't want the Easter Bunny. Let's go more fuel cows. I think we probably have a use for them in the future. In fact, I wanted to see if they work with the biofuel generator. Keep playing our crazy elixir slimes, and we have so many elixir slimes. Getting 224 units of elixir per turn. Alright, so here we go. Here's some more fuel wheat. We'll play that to our heart's content here. Do I have a water tank in my hand? I do. So I will go ahead and hold off on filling up that island completely. Don't really have the money to expand. So let's hope Field Grapes comes in just 3 short turns here, folks. We'll see. Engineer cow, chicken... Antenna? Sure. I guess. It's pretty underwhelming. But that's okay. It's 5 production to adjacent crops, plus 1 production to crops in a 2-island range for every elixir produced on the farm. There's no real fence space. I mean, you could get a little buff to your corn here, I suppose. Play them right here. It's in a 2-island range, right? And that should, in theory, give us more fuel. Maybe not. Hard to say. I was thinking it would buff up the fuel wheat here that's going to the biogenerator. Maybe it doesn't work that way. That's alright, you learn something new every day about Terracards, folks. At least I know I do. This game keeps me scratching my head, I tell ya. Alright, folks, here we go. We are ready to launch into orbit. Fuel Grapes is here. Grapes take no water, but they take 10 fuel. They cannot be processed by structures, but they produce equivalent to the fuel surplus, and that is the key, folks, because we have 300,000 fuel surplus. So you take our measly grapes that are producing 2 grapes per turn. And now we're going to be getting 300,000 per plant. This is going to absolutely bust the game. Let's just take a quick assessment here. 59,687. Looks like we're making 31 grapes. Okay? Keep that number in mind. 31. $434 in grapes per turn. Just not enough to cut it. So whatever are we going to do just to get by? We can't even put food on the table right now, folks. The tax man's a coming, and we just don't have the cash money, right? So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go nuclear with Fuel Grapes. We're going to launch this spaceship into orbit right now, folks. And you're about to see the game-breaking ability of Fuel Grapes here. More gnomes, you bet. We'll grab more gnomes. I think there's a strong play with them once we have a little bit of money to play around with. And speaking of money, how much money do we have, folks? $266 million. And this is a flashy, gaudy, absurd, crazy number of grapes. But that's 19 million grapes per turn now, folks. $266 million in grapes. And I just want you to consider this for a moment. This is only 4 islands, okay? Just 4 islands. So what do you do naturally now? You continue to play the grape cards that you're getting every single turn. continue to pump your fuel, which pretty easy thing to do. Just do this. Biofuel generator silos, right? And I mean, it's nuclear. There's no other way to say it. It's insane is what it is. So now we have the money to recklessly spend and buy. Could buy a little spaceship island if we wanted to. Could do whatever we want. And that, folks, is why Fuel Grapes is by far the most overpowered essence reward in this game. And there's nothing that's even close. Unless you're considering Jingle Clucks and the quintillion dollars that Jingle Clucks creates for you, right? I think that's a glitch. I don't know. I sent the video to the developers. They never really got back to me on if it's a glitch or not. But I would assume it's some kind of mathematical error for sure. But as we play more grapes, we only get more and more and more income. And that is the craziest thing about this build. So when I say, can we take it to turn 500, I mean, I'm being serious. I mean, 308 million now, right? I think it's completely feasible that you could. I really do. I think it's possible. Crap collector, sure. We'll go with the crap collector. I think this is a pretty good spot for one right here. Just want it adjacent to crops. I mean, look at this insane production. It matches what we're making for fuel. So we're going to continue to maximize fuel. We are going to continue to maximize grapes, of course. We don't necessarily even need to play Elixir Slime anymore. The important part of the Elixir Slime was at least just getting a fence of them on the board, so you're getting grapes every single turn. And again, you need the wine for the chickens first and foremost before you go fuel grapes, because fuel grapes do not allow you to produce wine anymore. It's really that simple. So that's what I meant by it's kind of a timing thing, right? We did get fuel grapes earlier on. Had I taken them then, we wouldn't be where we're at today. We'd be sitting fine, but then you would have to rely on drawing your grapes from the random draws, right? This is a steady and consistent way to ensure that you get grapes every single turn. And at 300,000 grapes per plant, it's just absolutely busted. It's broken. We're moon-bound, right? We're floating in the upper atmosphere with reckless abandon. And it's okay. I want to see what fuel cows do here, so we'll go ahead and purchase that up. We did get some more biofuel generators, so why don't we place another island of these bad boys down? This is a good spot for silos, right? This is where flush actually does really work for you pretty well. We're almost at $2 billion here, and I don't even know what day it is, but the day is still young. But you see what flush enables you to do? You can just pump your biofuel generators in there without issue. Add some more grapes. You betcha. We'll do that. We'll definitely do that. Elixir Slime, I mean, we don't have enough fence space for them. Don't necessarily need them. Could continue to fill out this grid where the lakes are. Could essentially put grapes anywhere. I mean, you might even be able to just do this. Just continuously end your turn. And you might be able to take it to day 300. I know the last time I did it, I think I had like 5 grape islands down with some pretty good fuel production. And I think I got to like turn 250 without doing anything, right? So I took the game to day 200, just playing it. And then I just simply ended my turn. Got to day about 250, I think. And then the taxes got too great to pay. Medium fences. We definitely need some medium fences. I'll even take that over the water tank. That hurts a little bit, but it'll be okay. Believe we got our fuel cows. Yeah, but we don't have any fences for them. Again, the nice thing about flush is we're going to get 4 fences once we draw them, right? Here's 4 water tanks. You love to see that. So let's go ahead and fill out. Just 1 water tank adds so much. I'm going to save that for the fuel cow. So let's add a water tank right here. And continue to play grapes to our heart's content. We get our medium fences. That's good news. So we'll go ahead and throw a medium fence right here. We'll throw it right here. Right here. And we'll throw it right here as well. Continue to put in our elixir slime for free. Just free elixir. Don't have to worry about the insane water cost of the elixir slime. And then, of course, continue to display those grapes. We are at day 150, folks, and we're at $4 billion. And keep in mind, I just recently got field grapes, right? So imagine if you were able to get, say, drunk chickens on day 40 and field grapes on day 60. You would have the superior production for just that much longer. Probably be a trillionaire by now, to be honest. But that's alright. Sometimes you just gotta take what the game gives to you. The game has been generous today, without question. It was a little, it took its sweet time on the fermenter, but that's alright. Can't have it all. Alright, so here's what I want to see. Does the fuel cow consider the biofuel generator here? It does. Insane. 27,000 fuel per fuel cow. That's insane. So there's another thing to take away from this playthrough for sure. The utility of the fuel cow biofuel generator, it's a really good combination. If you're going field grapes for your run, I would highly recommend it, of course. And I'm going to put some grapes right here as well. Start filling out this island. Put some grapes right here too. For our watery tree, can certainly get that in place too, but let's just continue to play these grapes. And elixir slime, of course. Although playing all of this elixir slime, it doesn't necessarily feel like we're getting any more grape cards per turn, if you will. So that is one call. I don't know if it just tops out eventually or what happens. All right, arboreal bounty. I always do that when I have arboreal bounty. But that's okay. Water is not a concern either. Sugarcane, popsicle, more fuel corn. Yeah, we'll take some more fuel corn. Why? Because we're focusing on fuel. Fuel corn gives you fuel. 1 fuel wheat on this setup here is going to give us 365,000. It is 372,000. Just 1 fuel wheat. That's insane. It just is. There's no other way to put it. Insane is the perfect word for it. And that's precisely what it is. Absolutely bonkers, folks. And that's, part of the reason why I wanted to do this build again. I was like, in my first video on this, that was at a bit earlier time in the channel as well. I was still pretty brand new to this YouTube thing. I've got a few videos under my belt now, right? I know a little bit more about the ins and outs of video production. But I missed elixir slime, right? Elixir Slime was not part of that build at all. So I had to rely on drawing my grapes every single time. And I could only manage to get, 5 or 6 islands of them. But with the Elixir Slime, it's future-proof. I'm pretty comfortable saying it's future-proof. I mean, you might reach a point in time, of course, where it's not future-proof anymore, but I mean, we have $7 billion at day 157. And this is completely legit. Like, the mathematics are there. Everything's legit. Everything is working the way it's supposed to work. Wow, look at this. Crab collector with the fuel wheat and the biofuel generator combo with the full island. Insane. It adds another 40,000. That's crazy, dude. 538,000 fuel per turn. So if you ever want to blow off some steam and just release some stress, folks, and gaming is your thing, gaming probably is your thing to a degree, otherwise you wouldn't be watching a channel, dedicated to gaming. But if gaming's your thing and you want to blow off some steam, just do a fuel grapes build and have some fun. It is fun, and like I said, it's completely legit. There's nothing broken or screwy or buggy about it. It's just that strong. It's that powerful. Completely insane. Alright, we get wheat expansion, which will be useful for our fuel wheat for sure. Bright corn and black water. Let's go wheat expansion for sure, although the game's really not going to like us now. 623,050. That's insane. Let's see, what could we do? I'm trying to think of a way. So we could get... Because the crab collector is actually a pretty useful thing, right? Like, it does an excellent job. So how can we really maximize that? Getting one right here would be pretty insane. So let's make that kind of our next expansion. Hey, we have our antennas. I don't even remember drawing those, but let's throw them right here. I'm really concerned about our energy here, folks, so we're just going to throw them right there. So crab collector fence there, so we can just keep playing grapes without regard. It appears as if all of our fences are full. They are. I could throw some more right there, but I think I have some fuel cows in my hand still. Yeah, I do. So I want to fill that up with fuel cows for sure. We don't even have Home Sweet Home yet, folks. We could get some Home Sweet Home action and then start strategically placing gnomes in places around the grapes to boost their production even more. We could place them around the fuel wheat to boost the production even more. Like, this actually might be a decent fence for a gnome as well, because it'll hit this island and this island and this island and this island. And that one's all beasted up with the water tanks. So that might be a good play as well. We'll certainly see. Flush does benefit you in some ways. It also works against you in some ways. It's just a matter of kind of what you get. But when you're at this particular phase of the game and you get one biofuel generator, when you have flush, you get 4 of them. All you have to do is draw it. We're not concerned about income. We're not concerned about anything. We're just trying to take this into orbit. So that one medium fence I just grabbed there, right? We're kind of hard-pressed to find fences, especially this late in the game. Well, now we're going to get 4 of them. So it does have utility. It is useful. Maybe not the most useful, because it can also really kind of screw you over too. You got to be careful when you grab flush, but for something like this, it's absolutely something that you want to go with. In fact, it kind of reminds me that I should probably just clear out my hand. Like these fermenters here. Yeah, they cost energy, whatever. But let's just throw them down here. Who cares? Sick of looking at them. So I think there's another opportunity for a crop collector right here as well. It's got 2 fences on it, right? It can help boost our grapes even further to the moon. And we're at the ripe day of what? Like 165, something like that. We're making $1.5 billion per turn. And how many grapes, you ask? Well, let me tell you. 112 million grapes per turn. That's absolutely insane. And all legit. Just completely insane. I would expect the game developers to nerf field grapes sometime in the future. That's why I wanted to do this now, before they nerf it, so we can all remember just the insane sheer power of field grapes. Try for yourself. Have some fun. This game gets real relaxing when you don't have to worry about anything. Like rerolls, yeah, sure, we'll reroll, who cares, right? I don't know why I grabbed those wolves. I think it was during a time when we had a little less stability in the financial areas, right? We get more fuel cows. You bet we get more fuel cows. Alright, so let's put our friendly little fuel cows in here. Nice full fence of them. Getting a solid 22,600 fuel per turn from our friends, the fuel cow. I mean, we could even go fuel cow here perhaps too. It's hard to say. Don't really need it, to be honest. And it would be one thing, maybe a way to kind of fix field grapes to make them a little less just completely busted, is to make the fuel cost of the grapes steeper. So as you play more, right, your fuel cost goes down, or your fuel surplus goes down. Excuse me. Maybe that's the way to do it. Hard to say exactly. This would be a good spot for a crop collector right there too. But maybe that's the way to do it. The way it currently is, I mean, it makes grapes cost 10 fuel, but they get your fuel surplus in production. And fuel starts coming real early, folks. Even without the elixir slimes, like, you can get fuel, right? Pretty darn early in the game. Like, you can have a pretty decent fuel solution in place pretty early in the game. And, I mean, and you can get fuel grapes, right, as your first essence reward. So you could take this right off the bat. Maybe you can even get super lucky and get early elixir slime. It's really not that hard. You get, you get grapes pretty early, right? And all you need is a juicer and a fermenter, which are also pretty early game structures. So, I mean, you could probably get this off the ground by turn 20, turn 40. Why don't you give it a shot? Play around with this. Let me know how early you're able to secure the build with both elixir slime and fuel grapes. Obviously, there's a little luck involved. There's a bit of timing involved, but if you get the timing down, it's to the moon. It's to Pluto. It's to Mars. It's to the Andromeda Galaxy, folks. Like, this is utterly insane. It just is. Alright, so we did get our gnomes, but it looks like everything's full. Could really use Home Sweet Home. Could use some more fuel wheat since we have wheat expansion now. That's a good spot for a collector. So let's just keep adding grapes. You might be hearing a little bit of noise in the background. I can hear airplanes. Right, so I live kind of in a populated area. Get a lot of airplanes and the like flying by. So I apologize if you're hearing some background noise. I do have a dynamic microphone now, which should help cut down on some of that, but if you are hearing that, I do apologize. I know it's not the greatest sound quality when you have disruptions like sirens or airplanes or trains, things of the like. The typical city sounds, if you will, folks. Let's do a little assessment. $28 billion, and we're making $2 billion per turn on the back of 144 million grapes per turn. That's crazy. Out of 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 islands. That's it. Just bonkers. More fuel corn, you bet. Definitely throw that in place as well. And I think you are seeing the true potential and brokenness and just bustedness of this build. But it's also not such a bad place up here in the stratosphere, you know? We get more biofuel generators. This will come in handy if we can get just some fuel wheat on the board. Do I have fuel wheat in my hand? That's the question. No, I do not. Okay. The hand is definitely getting less populated, which is good. Obviously, all the free cards that we get every turn that just blasts our economy into orbit is what really clutters up my hand. Water tank. Yeah, we will take a water tank. We certainly will. What do we get? We get the gnomes again. Don't really have any room for you, gnome friends. We get the water tank here. That's good. Love to see that. So now, of course, we can go water tank. Water tank. That is going to be crap collector and then a fence. So let's go water tank right here. And right here as well. More grapes. Let's see. I was filling up an island right here. Another thing that's a little bit overlooked and what makes this build even stronger, folks, is the tropical soil. So it looks like I got that, what was that, first or fourth? I forget exactly when I got that. I think it was first. But plus 12 value to every item a crop produced, but double the water cost. So let's think about that for a second. I don't know if you saw my my tortilla build, where I went with tropical soil over arboreal bounty, and I kind of identified that as an opportunity in the future. Well, for this particular build, it works really, really well. Because grapes are just the raw product that we are selling, right? And it's giving you plus 12 gold per grape, right? Plus 12 gold per grape times 1.57 million, right? So it's really, really strong for this particular build. If we take a look at grapes, they sell for 2. Well, with tropical soil, they actually sell for 14. So you're making an insane amount of money more with tropical soil in this build. So if you're going to attempt this, kind of in the same spirit of this video here, definitely go tropical soil. You'll want tropical soil. Tropical soil, field grapes, and buckle up to the moon. So we'll put a medium fence right here, and we're going to pump some elixir slime in here as well. And frankly, we are still kind of waiting on Home Sweet Home as well, which would just be another insane boost. A collector. I suppose we could put another fence right here. Just boost these, right? If we get enough collectors, that is, of course. We want to try to use the fences that I have, of course. Could do something like... So that's going to be fuel wheat, of course. But if we put... Put a collector right here, right? Like there's just a bunch of opportunity to kind of work that into our build as well. Given, again, we get technically an animal card at every single turn as well. Don't really need watery tree. Silo, yeah, we'll take some silos. You bet. We'll take that all day. All day long with the silos. Continued to play grapes. And I think what I want to do, folks, just play around with this a little bit longer. We are already past the hour mark, so I don't want to go too long with this video. But I do definitely want to see kind of what happens and sort of how long you can go with this build. Just sedentary, meaning not playing any additional cards. But how long can the fuel production that we built up and the grape islands that we have, how long can that take us? How many days? So I'll probably just off video here. I'll just continuously end my turn and see how far it actually takes us. I mean, who knows? It's hard to say. Of course, the game performance does slow down quite a bit once you get here. The $40 billion mark with all of the things that we have on the field. I mean, we got elixir slimes, we got fuel wheat, we got gnomes. Everybody likes a nice friendly gnome, right? Or maybe they actually terrify you. What are your opinions of gnomes? And I'm not talking the card, but maybe more of like the lawn gnome type. What are your opinions? For me, I'm sort of indifferent toward them. I think they're maybe a little creepy. Definitely a little bit creepy, right? But yeah, we're going to get this to day 200 here. And then I'm going to simply end the video there. And then I will time lapse this for you with a few screenshots. You know, we'll see how far this actually goes. It's going to be hard to say. I have no clue. And it feels like we're future-proof, doesn't it? Paste Bloom. Yeah, we'll take Paste Bloom. Why not? Just another animation for the game to process at turn end, of course. But I mean, so I have weed expansion, right? So if we could just get our hands on some more fuel wheat, we could get this up to 1 million. I'm pretty sure. Like the infrastructure is definitely in place. Like fuel wheat. That'll be another, what, 100,000, 150,000? And continue to just fill this island up here. Around the 4 biofuel generators. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Definitely learned about the biofuel fuel cow. It's a good combo that I wasn't considering for sure. I suppose if you wanted to go even more insane with this, you could start adding peanut gnomes in here. And then process the grapes into peanut butter. Let's see, how does peanut butter sell again? 12. Never mind. The grapes would be more lucrative with tropical soil. So don't do that, actually. Alright, so for our silos, we can throw one here. I understand it's a great spot for collector, but that's okay. We'll throw it right there anyways. Might as well play our silos. Throw one right here and right here as well. Just need the fuel wheat now. We still have a wolf in our hand, really? Alright, well, let's get rid of that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the air traffic today, folks. It seems to me like there's a lot of airplanes passing by today. But I wasn't going to let that stop me from giving you some Terracards content. Game performance issues for sure. Alright, are we all like filled up here? Looking good. Getting just a bit monotonous here. What are we at? Day 184. What did we get? We got fuel cows that time. I'm not even going to play more grapes. Did get the crap collector. Okay. So I want to see how this works. 676. 723. Just by playing one of them. 769. 815. And 862. So now each grape plant is producing 862,000. About. Grapes per turn. Selling for 22. Just crazy stuff, man. We gotta be getting some decent elixir production too with all of these elixir slimes we got too. Let's take a look at that. Only 128. Seems very, very, very underwhelming. But for grapes, we're making $221 million per turn. Or sorry, 221 million grapes per turn, selling for $3 billion per turn, folks. And that's just grapes, man. It's just your basic grape. You see it around, what, turn 15, turn 20. Nuclear launch detected. Hit me up in the comments if you know what that's from. Alright, let's get this thing to day 200. So we can land this plane here, folks. We can land this space shuttle. Another biofuel generator. My goodness. This game has been very generous in the late game to us. Yeah, I don't need to keep playing Elixir Slimes. That's just wasting time. Not $3 million in taxes. So we're going to get this to day 200 and we are going to assess. Take final inventory, if you will. $193. There's our silos. Suppose if we ever got more fuel wheat, play one right there, right here, right here, right here. Crab collector, you betcha. Another pretty insane thing about it is, I mean, the grapes aren't even costing water, right? They're costing fuel, which is the very thing that you focus on with the field grapes build. So it's just busted in so many ways, folks. They've definitely got to fix it, because it's pretty much a guaranteed win if you know what you're doing. I mean, frankly, I might even argue even if you don't know what you're doing. But something that's just automatically a victory condition is pretty insane. 100 billion. We've reached the 100 billion mark. And for our final essence reward, folks, we do get golden chance. I guess we'll take that. We'll take golden chance. And we win. The ending bankroll is 100 billion. Let's take the final assessment. 908 elixirs, a decent number. But everything else, folks, pales in comparison to the 224 million grapes we're making per turn. $3.14 billion in grapes per turn. And that number really just only continues to rise as we continue to get more biofuel generators and silos and fuel wheat and expand this out and out and out and onward and upward into orbit, into the stratosphere, into the ionosphere, into the moon, into the sun, into Andromeda. But that is the field grapes build. We can do a comparative analysis between this build and my previous one. Again, I'll link the video in the description, but this one's better because of the presence of the elixir slime and the ability to just continue to play grapes, grapes, grapes. If you do that, you're unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. So with that said, folks, I am going to end the video here, but I really do appreciate you stopping by the channel. I appreciate your viewership. This community is awesome. You guys are awesome, every single one of you, and I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for your viewership and your support. Support's just been tremendous, outstanding. And again, I really appreciate it. So I am going to end the video here, folks. But why don't you try a field grapes build? Try it out. Let me know in the comments how it goes for you. How early did you get it? How early were you able to implement it? I think we got it implemented by like day 120. But how early are you able to get the elixir slime on the board? And then you get the field grapes. It's kind of all chance. But we got pretty lucky in drawing field grapes twice. So with that said, folks, thank you so much. Try the build out and come join me in the orbit of Mars. Maybe we can travel to Pluto together or something, right? Anyways, thanks a lot. We'll catch you in the next video. Really appreciate you. Bye.